Welcome to Podcast This Escape, the podcast where we talk about the escape room we escaped from in the previous episode of this podcast. Eve, thank you so much. That was great fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for having me. I was so excited to run this room for you.
None of the plants tried to eat us.
That's always good.
The vines were very suspect, but yeah, hey, that seems like a win.
Yeah, I had a very chill room. I was considering putting some carnivorous plants in, but I wanted to keep the chill kind of botany vibe and leave the man-eaters for the other people, you know.
It was. The kindness of the room did give me an appreciation for plants where I usually judge them heavily.
I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was very nicely put together. I always like being given an alphabet to decipher, so that was always fun. Danny, do you think we could have done it based on just looking at the... I think we could have. I think we've done that before without getting the key for it.
It can take longer and you can definitely make more mistakes. So what were the final words in the...
The most unique flower is the key.
Okay, so we probably could have gotten the is the, but...
Yeah, we would have had the. That would have got us...
Most we could have probably gotten after having the S and the T. Unique could have taken some time. Even flower could have taken some time.
The problem
that would have had to be a big context.
Yeah, because you would have started with the, then probably got is the blank,
so
and then you would have had the E.
O
is this
and
something
the E for
you
flower.
might think is the key, maybe, just because it's an escape room.
Maybe.
You would have had the ST for most, and you might have thought best, but then you realize there's no E in it, so you go most. Then we get the M. Then unique would be pretty rough.
Been an A as well. It would have been a challenge.
Could have been doable.
Oh, doable eventually, yes, but there would have been some guesswork.
But also,
involved
clearly,
might not have
one of those ones where you know is like, great, this is going to give me more info. It'd be wild if they expected this, so you go and find it.
Generally, that's true. You assume that you're going to be given more info unless you're told otherwise, and they go, oh no, okay.
Yeah. So my own neuroticism made me give the full alphabet, even though it wasn't needed. I was like, it's needed. And whether
Absolutely.
or not it's
I
needed,
see that.
it's needed.
In terms of things, so I have a question. So we had the
Absolutely.
code that we needed around the tree. Lovely. Told us about the most unique flower being the key. We had the vines with the plants that told us what letter was which. And then we had the vine message on top of the flower mural.
The beauty of
biodiversity. Was that there just to give us a key link between that? Like, this is where the unique flower is going to be?
That was what I assumed.
It didn't really matter what it said. It was just more that it had that writing.
Yeah. So that came out during playtests, is that y'all kind of went a little out of order.
A little bit.
from what happened during playtests, from the searches, is that everyone during the searches kind of like went to and like deciphered the code and then had no idea what to do with it. They were like, most unique flower, I don't know where to go. So I decided to put something in there to kind of connect those things, to basically point out, yes, this is pointing to the mural. You need this to solve it.
Yeah, like if you collected every single element that had Vine Talk on it, you'd have all the elements that you need for that puzzle.
I think that where my head was at, I would have gotten it anyway, but I did like having it there, especially the fact that it used the word biodiversity in it.
To talk about uniqueness.
Exactly. That really helped. So I think that was a good call. What else has changed in the process from playtesting to now?
The bonsai puzzle changed a little bit. I made sure to point out the differences with the lightest color of the trees.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, it's an odd number. And I'm like, yes, you add one. So kind of like driving home that.
I think that makes sense.
That was a little addition.
Yeah, I think that's one of those ones where if you had more data points, you probably wouldn't need it. But because there's a limited number of things that have that pattern, the idea of like, the pattern indicates a number unless it's bright, in which case the pattern is a different number. You're like, well, that's hard to figure out without cluing, unless I had a bunch with that pattern.
Yeah, and putting like a huge matrix of trees to like figure out the whole pattern also is too much.
If you think about ways to solve that problem, there's either too much info or a different type of info. So just having a wording of it is helpful.
Just give them a rule.
So, when
Yeah.
it came to designing this room or coming up with the basic idea for this room, was plants already one that was sort of in the group psyche, or was that one that you specifically said, I've got plants, I want to do plants?
When we came up with the idea, I was like, can I have plants?
Okay.
I would like botany, please. I kind of jumped at it. I just really wanted to do plants. I am a biologist.
So you're into the plant side of biology. That was never my thing. Learning photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 made me mad.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, I don't love that either, but I don't love like the biochemistry nitty-gritty of photosynthesis because it's annoying. But
Krebs cycle. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Krebs
yes,
cycle.
it is. But I do love plants in general.
Okay.
As you could probably tell with how I was like, the quince is like a pear. But
Do you keep lots of plants yourself?
no, because I live in a house with 5 humans and 2 very troublesome cats.
Oh, good point. Good point.
And all those humans hate plants. Anytime they see a flower, they crush it underfoot. They say, not in my
The
house!
cats would be great at nurturing the plants, but they're just outnumbered.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's just not a lot of space to put the plants. And then if we did put the plants somewhere,
Someone
they
would tip it for
be
fun.
They would be victims.
Are you the sort of person who can just in nature identify plants? Because I've never been able to do that either. I can barely tell one tree from another.
Some plants, especially like flowers.
Oh, nice.
I'm the kind of person who can like go into a grocery store and I know all the crazy plants and fruits and things. Like be like, oh, I know what that is.
I feel like everyone who does it in the wild, they're like just wandering around. It's always the case of like, here are 2 plants. They are identical. I can tell them apart. One of them will kill you, and one of them is the greatest medicine ever created.
That does seem to be the way.
There's no way to determine, but you got to know the secret. If you rub them, one's slightly furrier. This is not enough info.
What is your stance on mushrooms, Eve, while we're talking deadly poison?
Oh, I know very little about mushrooms. I also don't like eating mushrooms. I just don't like the texture. So I will never fall victim to them.
And Danny, you fall into the trap. We're talking about plants, not mushrooms.
That's why I didn't include it and asked a separate question. God.
Yes, some people are like, mushrooms are plants. They're not. Completely different kingdom.
Their own thing. The weirdos.
Completely different kingdom.
All right. So after coming up with the idea of I want to do botany, tell us a little bit about your creation process. What was it like making this thing?
Once I kind of had botany down, we were still kind of in the plotting phase for a little while. Even once rooms were selected, I was kind of part of like the leadership and trying to organize a lot of things.
Oh, well done.
Which I'm very happy to do that. Just try to like help out as much as I can. But it meant a lot of like not really working on the room as much as working on the whole thing for a while, which I feel like was kind of everyone for a good part of it, was just trying to figure out where are we going with this? What are our guidelines for our rooms before we start writing them? But I kind of like started thinking like, oh, what are some puzzles I can include? One of the first ones I came up with was actually the sharps joke.
I mean,
Nice.
fair.
I was like, oh, I can do that because it's sharps and it's roses and that'll fit in my room. And then just thinking about like different things that kind of go with plants. And then I was thinking about pigments and just like little different things that kind of went with plants. But also the magical setting that we've put ourselves in really lends itself nicely to less like number code and passcode based things and more mechanical, which is really exciting to me.
Which is helpful, I feel, in a botany room where plants will normally take several days to weeks to react to anything you do to them.
That's
Oh
also true.
yeah,
You get to deal with
magic
magic plant
solves all the
acceleration.
problems. magic solves all the problems. But like, you know, working in a physical escape room where like almost everything is a digit lock or a word lock or something like that.
It's interesting that you say that, because
working with something different.
if you invest enough money into the tech behind it, I could see a good amount of this, if not all of this, being in a physical escape room, which is very rare for something so magic heavy.
I can see all of it being integrated into a physical escape room. It's just
there's
expensive.
Oh, definitely. Like there's one
Expensive.
in Sydney, Forest of Echoes, to some extent, will have things like that. It has a lot of fake foliage, and those things, they can light up differently. They can move differently as required for different parts of the room.
Yeah.
So I was definitely thinking of that, and that's like one of that's a Topeka level room. That's massively impressive. Everyone falls in love with it when they
Very
go
cool.
do it. And yeah, I was definitely getting the vibes of that through this. And also, same sort of chill vibes.
Yes, yeah. It's something, plants, because they're not that very quick. They create a chill vibe. You don't often have to run from a
Let
plant.
it be noted that 2 weeks ago, we watched Day of the Triffids.
And even those, they're the quickest plants that people can come up with, and they're still just like, I'm going to get you. No, wait there. No, I'm coming. Hey, no, I'm getting there. Don't drive away. Don't walk away from me. Ah, damn it. Like, it's fun. They're really not that scary.
Yeah.
But no, it was lovely. Do you have in this room, so obviously, you know, you've changed some with playtesting, you sort of came up with plants straight away. Is there a puzzle in this? Is it the thorns? That it was your like favorite? Like if now that you're done, you're like, I'm
Which
really
puzzle's your
proud
baby?
of like this puzzle. This is the one that I really like.
Honestly, it is the thorns.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
because
fair
I think it's so silly. And during all the playtests, like you got it almost right away, but there was like an aha moment where it's like I had highlighted in my script the if you need to access the beehive, the keys are in the office and will be exchanged weekly. And I just kept repeating that until I got it. And they're like, oh!
And you had specifically said that the roses must have been placed there pretty recently.
Yeah.
Indicating that they've been changed
Like
out.
this is one of those
really
puzzles where
proud
like
of
we
that.
were very much served by the order in which we found the elements.
That's
right?
true.
Like we went to the bees and saw we need 5
specifically-
letters. We went to the music.
specifically restrained ourselves. We had opened up the office and went, no.
Yeah.
Let's not look in here. Yeah.
And so we didn't
I think
even
that
look
was
at the
clever.
roses until we already knew we have like musical notes will be relevant. We need 5 things in a row that will be 5 letters. And we know that the key that is in here is related to that. And it's the word, like we had everything prepped so we can just be like, great, those roses are sharps, roses.
Which is great. It's really good in escape room, and it's hard to control because there are often, loads of things to look at and people can look at them in any order. But when the order of things that naturally get looked at ends up making the player's brains go where you want them to, that's awesome when that can happen. I definitely like that one as well, but I love anything that's got a good pun. And also, I love puzzles. Obviously, you don't require outside knowledge, but things that give you a chance to just try to flex it a little if you got it.
We've had that a few times in this
And
arc, and it's always been fun.
Like, I did make sure first, I said, hey, let's say we have hit a point where we have solved this, right? We could look at this poster. That's where the answer's going to be, right? Good. Now let's ignore it and try to use our own. And I was happy.
It's something.
You did very well. I was very
It's
impressed.
a little something we considered when we were thinking about the arc is like, what's a setting in which we could let Vil and Danny go a little bit wild?
Aw.
It's like, ooh, a museum.
How much science there has
geek
been.
out.
I have definitely appreciated it. It's been good fun.
Yeah.
Where's the forensic room? Where's the room full of refractive index testers and
That's what the people
Ninhydrin
want.
fingerprint
God.
Yeah.
stuff?
That's on our list.
That's true. Yep. I'll get there. I'm sure I'll have an autopsy room at some point.
Refractive index testing is really fun.
There is a tiny little forensics exhibit at the American History Museum.
Ooh.
Nice.
Tiny. It is like, I think 20 feet by 10 feet. And I don't know if it's open anymore.
I love it.
I think it was visiting.
It's a glass testing thing. Where like, if you want to be like, could these 2 bits of glass come from the same thing.
Oh, okay.
You put them in a liquid and you'll shine lighter and you'll like change. I can't remember what you're cycling through, but you're changing through like the type of light or the type of temperature or whatever until you hit like a certain like, oh, that glass has turned invisible because we've hit their exact refractive index with the light and the liquid. And then if they both turn invisible at the same time, because light is completely passing through them, you're like, oh, great. That is the same type of, like, well, that could be from the same type of glass. If they don't turn invisible at the same time, you're like, great, it's not going to be the same type of glass.
That's a tricky one to incorporate into an escape room.
It's good fun, though.
Oh, I'm sure it is. A lot of the stuff, like, a lot of science is fun stuff.
A lot of science is fun stuff.
But then there's things that just aren't very good for an escape room.
Like a completely visual element, like the refractive index of glass. Something like that, maybe?
My first university chemistry class, and possibly my last university chemistry class as well, because I didn't enjoy university chemistry and I didn't have to do it for my degree, was somehow we had ended up with some purified substance. It was yellow. We needed to put it under a microscope while heating it up because that was the only way we could see when it hit its melting point. And so we were just waiting. Now, have you
Wait, you didn't have you didn't have a device that literally did that?
Apparently not. Because we were sitting
my
and staring at it and
university-
going, I can't tell whether this is still solid or if it's liquid now.
Noting a transitional point by eye. Lovely. Well, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. We obviously had some trouble with the orientation at the start, but it doesn't affect the room at the end, which is
not
great.
at all.
Although until I looked at the original map and went, oh yeah, I see, it's got a big rounded section at one end, like where the
I
circular
drew mine
section
as a
is.
vertical line, but then my image of it didn't end up going right.
This was the first map I drew because
And it's beautiful.
everything that I do, every like room that I make always starts with the map because that's kind of how I think.
Yeah.
It
Same
started
here.
horizontal, and then Owen was like, "It's vertical now."
It doesn't matter though. Like it can still be horizontal. You don't even have to change it. It's like it's vertical under a different map, but you turn around sometimes. It's fine.
Also, when I first wrote it, the doors were here, and then the doors were put here.
So we've gone from the short side of a rounded rectangle to the wide side of a rounded rectangle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But thankfully, in the end,
it doesn't really matter. I've said this before, like, you could easily, no one does, and I wouldn't want to, but you can get away playing most of these audio escape rooms without ever drawing a map. If you just wrote down a list of the objects that you
some
need to
people
look at,
do that.
it's almost like you don't really need to know where they are in
Yeah.
space. You don't need to have a sense of like, this thing is just to my left. It's just like, oh, give me a list of the things in the room. But it's not as fun. It doesn't feel as immersive, but you can easily. So when someone's maps are like, reoriented differently or moved around, often it doesn't hugely matter.
No.
It's very rare that a room is like, no,
on
must
the
be
rare
on the opposite
occasion
wall.
where it's really important, then I will make sure I will put a lot more effort into my room descriptions than
Yeah.
usual.
Like we had one room in our third or our fifth season or something where it was like, you need to have this orientation exact.
Exactly.
Every single thing must be
yeah.
exactly where I say it is. Otherwise, the final product, a final puzzle just does not work.
Yes.
Which was great because it was like a room that was also
A
being
pool
replicated
table.
on a pool table.
Yeah.
So like things being in particular pockets had to go to particular objects in the
Yeah,
room.
I don't
and-
remember what the puzzle was, but something to do with that.
Which was great, which was really fun. But usually it doesn't hugely matter. It's kind of like, yeah, cool, whatever. It's
Definitely
on
can
the
matter
next
in
wall.
physical escape rooms. I've had physical escape rooms where maps that you end up getting, very obtuse maps with tiny little clues about what the layout of the room is really important.
But luckily, I think a physical escape room pretty reliably will look like the same physical layout for
That's a good
everybody
point.
inside because it's physically there. So it's not as big an issue, I don't
Much
think.
less likely that
I
someone
don't
is
think
putting a
anyone's ever-
door on the wrong
yeah,
wall.
I don't
in
think
a
anyone's ever
physical escape
entered
room.
a physical escape room and been like, the piano's over there for me. It's like, what do you mean? It's there.
That's
no,
like
no, that
something-
piano's over there.
That's like something out of an Oliver Sacks book.
Yeah, the man who mistook that wall for a piano. But no, look, it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. It was a nice, chill room.
Yeah, you weren't wrong. You weren't lying.
I have one question. As a group, I want to know how. I think the biggest divide in how a lot of these rooms have been done is whether or not the passport stamping is a thing that happens naturally in the course of you have finished the room, and because you have finished the room, you have earned this passport stamp. Here you are. or whether at some point we need to do a thing that gets the passport stamped. Some of the rooms have been like, solve
That's
this puzzle and
true.
your
Some
reward
that's
is
been
stamping
in
a
the
passport.
puzzle, and some that's just happened.
Has that happened just because people did whatever they wanted? Did you have was there a conversation about what the point of the passport is, or was it just, hey, by the end of the room that passport needs to be stamped? And
That's
then
sort
we
of what
move
I
on?
assume. I assume it was just get a
Yeah.
passport by the end.
So the whole passport thing, I don't know whose idea it was originally, but I know I was a big proponent of it, and I was just like, we need a passport. Because I was like, when you go to a museum or something and you have the passport and you get stamps,
This
it's so
wasn't
satisfying.
a thing that I'd experienced, but I wish that it was, because absolutely, if you can go through a museum and make it feel like a quest, fantastic.
It's so satisfying.
I find it interesting because it isn't something that I have any kind of actual personal cultural experience with. The idea of getting stamps at a museum is like, okay, sure, why not? It's not normal to me. But what I find interesting is I would have always, in my head, thought of that as a very Japanese concept. To me, when I think of people getting stamps as they go through a thing, it's very Japanese because it is a thing in Japan. They love to do. They'll stamp as you go to each of the shrines, you get a stamp, or as you go to each of the things, you get a stamp. And you see that pop up in a lot of Japanese video games, like the recent Zelda with Echoes of
You're
There's a
right,
stamp
there are
race where you have to
stamps.
go to each of the places and you get stamps for all the
Huh.
So to me, culturally, it's because it's foreign to me, but I've seen it in Japanese media and in trips to
You
Japan. I'm
made
like,
it a Japanese thing,
stamps
yeah.
as you go around, that's a very Japanese thing. And it's interesting to see that from an American's perspective, it's like, you're in a museum, of course you got to get some bloody stamps. Like, okay.
Is this just us?
It's
Everyone
just
else around
everyone
the
else.
world? Has Australia
Yeah,
just fallen behind
just
in the stamp
every
game?
country in the world stamp everything and we just don't care.
I don't think it's every time I go to the museum, but it's a very when I was a kid and I grew up right outside of Washington, D.C. So
But they love to
go
stamp.
into the
Stamp
city.
obsessed
And,
freaks over there in
it
Washington.
was not necessarily a stamp, but sometimes a sticker book.
Yeah.
Sticker books were really big
Oh,
when I
that
was
would've been
growing up.
good.
So we get stickers going around to the different exhibits. So I was and that was so satisfying getting the different things.
Yeah.
So
Whereas
basically,
honestly,
the idea was
Our post offices have a monopoly on the sticker game.
That's true. Look, maybe there's
Basically.
other Australians listening to this being like, what are you two idiots
Yeah,
talking
that's
about?
true. Maybe we just
love
haven't been
we
to the
get
right
things stamped all the
museums.
time. But yeah, I just don't, it's not really a
Yeah.
thing that I would have thought. If I was creating a museum,
Yes,
I would
no.
I would not have thought let's get stamps for every place we
Incidentally,
go.
Billy, can you open up our do you have the copy of our passport?
Yes.
In our notes? I would love to see what this
Yeah,
latest
you
one looks like.
you should have the little. I think I have a copy.
I've got it here. It's all fine. Yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
lovely.
We've got our Feed Me Seymour.
Wait, the art for that pedal,
Oh.
that looks like a real pedal.
I'd also like to say that at the end of yours, you said take one small step.
Yeah.
But for ours, we've got it on Feed Me Seymour.
No, yeah. Take
that-
one small step was the next one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you should read that.
Steven
That's what it
Seymour
said.
was from my room.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah, sorry.
Cool,
Is that
cool.
pedal picture a real image of a pedal, or is that also something that you drew?
No, it's a real pedal.
Yeah,
that
cool.
Leo got.
I was gonna say, oh my god,
Well, did you-
watercolors are magic.
Leah made a bunch of this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Leah made
literally
the
burnt
passport.
paper for the burnt paper one.
What?
Set a piece
Yeah,
of paper
Leah
on fire. Took a
actually
photo, I
set a
think.
paper on fire.
Yeah, like
I
that's
don't
not
remember knowing that.
designed. That's not made in that's not painted. That's just
Leah set paper on
fire.
fire.
yeah.
Amazing.
And cut her finger open and bled on the passport
no,
down there.
I believe that.
Went to ancient Egypt and found a scarab and stole it and stuck it into the book.
That.
These are all real.
But I do believe she actually burned the paper.
That pedal is
But
lovely.
yeah, no, Leah did a great job on the passport, and yeah, when I saw the pedal, I was so happy.
That's Leah's actual DNA.
I think the consensus was as long as it gets stamped, somehow, and I think it was Kat who was kind of the first one to say, "Hey, can I have something that's not a stamp?"
Can they
And
burn their
can I
book?
burn it.
I'm Kat and I
think
love
it's fun.
burning books. That's what I think is great.
That's
Here
what
I
I'm
go.
learning.
Any excuse.
And I'm like, I would love to just have a pressed pedal as mine. Like in the
Pressed pedal is
world
great.
of the museum outside of the magic, it would be a stamp.
But in the magical
in
world,
the
it's an
world of
actual
Exactly.
pedal.
magic, you get this little pedal that's
Absolutely.
like a reminder of your adventure, right? and it's kind of personal to you.
It works perfectly. What was the hardest part for you in the room creation process? Is this the first one that you've ever written?
Oh yeah, have you written a room
It
before?
is not the first one I've ever written. It is the first one that the files have stayed with me.
Oh no.
I've had problems in moving my artwork, maintaining its either integrity in structure or in space-time.
Lovely.
And that I can locate it. But
Been there.
yeah, I've also written a lot of like murder mysteries. I feel like plot is where I thrive. So puzzles is not really my forte, but I did my best.
I'm feeling a great connection to you.
Like I love solving puzzles, and then I panic when I'm trying to write them.
Everything either feels too easy, too difficult, or too done before.
Exactly. I'm like, I need something new and something doable, but not something easy, because if they do it in 5 minutes, I'm gonna feel bad. But yeah, I think the hardest part was probably making sure all of the puzzles worked well together, because I was so tempted to just be like, you can solve everything at once. And I kind of had to put a lot of things behind the locked doors, but like I didn't want, like I feel like a lot of things like chain of reactions,
Which is
and I
great.
didn't want it to be like that. But it does have to be somewhat.
Yes, it's great to have that to an extent. You don't want everything usually to just be one line where there is only one thing to look at and then one thing to look at. But
Right.
having some sort of natural order to it, it does feel good. We've been in escape rooms. There are different escape rooms where you can get different amounts of information at once. But usually it's the case where if everything is open at once and everything is solvable at once, it's overwhelming or confusing. So, but
Right.
I think that this one was very appropriately gated.
Yeah, it was
you.
nice. It had like it felt like there were a couple of lines that we were sort of doing at the same time. Like there was the Vine language sub-world, which we sort of dealt with first, but at the same time we could have been dealing with the musical B kind of stuff. And then they come together, so you can't do those until you've done the language because you have to get into the side
and then
room.
the
Like I think it worked
overall
quite well.
goal of fixing those 3 plants that was not in any way attainable right at the start.
And I think what it does is it also lends itself to a really nice pace. Like sometimes if everything's just as solvable at the start, you might be like, I've solved 5 things. I feel really good. Now I'm
And
not
now there's a
solving anything
gap.
for ages and ages. Whereas this is like, I'm still not doing it. I'm getting. And now suddenly, I can do it all. And it just like comes together and it feels like this really nice push at the end.
It was
works out
lots of good little small rewards, because it also wasn't the case where it's get all of the information and then start solving puzzles. We were solving as we went. So yeah, it was great. If gating and ordering things was your biggest concern, mission
It's come
accomplished.
out really nicely.
You ended up nailing it.
Yeah, it was kind of difficult because like I figured out all the puzzles that I kind of wanted, but then I had to like add more puzzles to like hide those puzzles behind.
Yes, yeah. It's like this is the cool thing, but they shouldn't do that straight away. I need to
They
push
should
it
get
back.
a little teaser first, and
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, which is always great. A nice little like the 3 pedestals and the 3 holes. Like, great, that's going to be the solution. And then it's this pH should be 3, and it's like, okay, now I know what we're going to do. We have to fix these. This will be the last thing that we do once we fix these 3 problems, and it worked out really well. Wonderful. Well, look, we had a lovely time. Thank you so much for coming on, running the room, playing through it. Like it was very enjoyable. We're very excited to see what the next room is as well.
Yeah.
But it was really great. Thank you so much.
We'll definitely be happy to have you again sometime in future if you have more.
Of course.
Thank you, everybody, for listening at home. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you want to help support the show, please just tell someone about it. Tell a friend, tell someone online, post about it. Get on some app and be like, oh, man, better listen to this show. All the cool kids are doing it. We'd appreciate it. It's the only way. It's the way that podcasts grow. There's so many podcasts out there, and they're so hard to find. And you don't know what it's going to be when you find it. And we ourselves, people have trouble because we're not what most people think of as a podcast. They'll be like, a podcast? You mean 2 people just sort of talking about something with as a vaguely interview format?
People don't realize that something like our shows can exist.
Yeah. So telling people makes a huge difference for us. There are a lot of people who would love to listen to our show who don't know that it's even an option to look for. So go and tell those people. They'll appreciate it, and so will we. You can also support the show monetarily through Patreon. That's how we make the money for the show. We don't run ads. We have art that we make for free, but people crowdfund the art, and that's a nice way to make stuff, and I'm really glad that we can do that. Anybody who supports at any level can appear as an NPC in one of Danny's rooms, but also there's weekly...
Alan Koo got a double
Alan Koo got an extra shout out.
He's in this room and he's been in a previous room.
Exactly. The rare double appearance. But also there's weekly bonus episodes for everybody who signs up for $5 a month with playtests or cryptic crosswords and 2-minute mysteries and Encyclopedia Brown solutions and all this fun, weird stuff going on.
$10 donors get some video content and our bonus Charmed podcast.
Oh, yeah, we have a weekly Charmed rewatch podcast that goes out to the $10 donors.
There was a question at my trivia night last night about Charmed.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it?
It wasn't hard. It was just...
Are these people witches?
No,
yes.
we just needed to... They gave a list. They said, Prue Piper and who's the third one? I was saying, how dare you only think of 3,
There's
but
sometimes
sure.
another one. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of fun stuff. There's trivia, there's videos, there's a bunch of little rewards for people who support us there. So if you want to sign up, please do. It'd be hugely helpful. We appreciate everybody who supports us there. All right. That's it. That's the end.
I think we're good.
We're done. Bye, everybody.
Very excited for the next one. Thank you.